Welcome back, my friends. Today we are taking a look at a tool that would essentially be if the Cobra and the pliers wrench had a baby, what would that baby be? So I believe Knipex has thought about that, and they have released a tool that, in my opinion, I think is kind of something that falls in the middle of these two. So the tool that I am talking about is none other than the Knipex Cobra ES, or Extra Slim. And the reason why it gets that name is, and we'll compare it just to the Cobra itself, is because of this long nose. So if you look at it compared to the Cobra, where you have the relief cutout to where you can grab on the fasteners, but this has quite a bit of nose compared to the Cobras. So if we look at those side by side, you get a little bit more reach with these. So it really kind of reminds me of the pliers wrench, because while the pliers wrench has more of this parallel kind of action, it has this kind of a long nose to it, and these flat sides, which really allows the pliers wrench to really grab onto the sides of a bolt. And also it doesn't have the grooves, so you kind of get a little bit more delicate hold on these fasteners. But if you compare these two, if you look at the Cobra versus the pliers wrench, and you can clearly see that the pliers wrench definitely has more of a longer nose to it. But the reason why I wanted to make this video is because this old boy's been getting a bad rap. You know, the videos that I've seen people doing are really talking about, basically it's a solution looking for a problem. Basically meaning that, you know, it's a tool that really doesn't have a use. And I kind of disagree with that. I think that it does have a use, and, you know, I think it could be quite useful. A lot of the things that people talk about, or let me say this. The one major thing that people's biggest gripe about this tool is if you look at the regular Cobras, and we look at, if we get it seated right here, where that relief is and where the teeth are, you look at that. So I have this little screw here kind of showing that you can get past that screw, you know, if you don't have, you know, if you have an obstruction there. Now, if you look at this, if we put this in its relief, it has an issue with that. You know, it's not able to clear that obstacle like the original Cobra is. In my opinion, I don't think that this tool is necessarily designed to be a better version of the Cobra. I think it's this being able to undo or tighten fasteners in a compact area. That's not what this tool is meant for. And if that's your only gripe about this tool, then to be honest with you, that's really not a gripe at all, because I don't think that that's what this tool is intended for. Where this tool really shines is its ability to, you know, grab and hold on to things. If you look at Knipex's, their demo video, they're not really going into talking about how well this tightens fasteners or anything like that. They talk about being able to pull out like fuses, things like that, things that are kind of where you got to get a good grip, get the flats on there and get a good grip on something. Being able to hold on to round and flat material, being able to pull things, you know, out. Say if you need to pull out some staples or a brad nail or something like that, where you could take this and kind of pry it up. It kind of gives you a little bit more leverage here at the end and a little bit more of a bite. And it gives you a much better, much more secure bite on anything that you're trying to get a hold of versus the traditional Cobra, because you only have basically that much area as a point of contact versus this, where you have almost double the area as a point of contact. And then on top of that, you know, you have the ability to tighten and loosen fasteners if you need to, or hold on to circular and even square material, being able to get a good grip on those things as well. So I don't think this is actually meant to be a tool to replace the Cobra. This is more of a tool to, in my opinion, complement the Cobra. Yeah, I mean, if you come into a situation where you're needing to get a fastener and you have to get around an obstacle, the Cobra might be your better choice. Now, the flip side of that is if you need to go into a tight space and be able to get a hold of something back a little further, you know, say if we had an issue where we were blocked off here and blocked off at the top where we couldn't, you know, turn around, or we just had an obstacle where we were limited as far as what we can get the tool in for. Well, that tool is going to beat out the Cobra because it has a much longer reach if you're trying to get in and grab something. So there are definitely pros to the Cobra ES over the standard Cobra. And another thing, just to kind of point out and kind of show you guys what I'm talking about as far as gripping flat material, I mean, that has a very good grip on that. You know, and oftentimes I am taking flat metal and bending it, and that's what these really come in handy for, being able to bend metal. Now, you can't get that, you could do it with the Cobra, but you can certainly tell that you're not getting as good of a purchase with the Cobra as you are with the ES. You know, so that's where this tool really shines, is being able to, it's kind of more of like a utility tool than a specialty tool. And again, you know, being able to grab round materials, you know, that's another thing it's capable of doing. And you can also grab it this way if you really need to. The Cobra can also do that as well. You can grab round material. But again, you know, if you're trying to grab something this way, you're not going to have nearly the length in contact, or as good of a contact as what you would with the ES. And another thing I want to mention is, you know, even if you can't grab a fastener in the seat of the plier itself and get around this obstacle, you can still get a good purchase on the flats of the fastener. Now, it's certainly not as good of a hold as what the normal Cobras are going to give you, but you can certainly get a hold of it if you're in a pinch and this is all you have. You can use the longer nose to turn this nut. You don't have to always turn that nut in the seat. You know, that does give you a better grip, no doubt about it. I'm not arguing that at all, but you can certainly get a hold of it with the flats, and that's kind of what I'm talking about, where it's kind of like, you know, somewhere in between a pliers wrench and a Cobra. And just to reiterate, the pliers wrench, again, is phenomenal at holding flat material and flat objects. I mean, it is very, very good at that. It exceeds at that just about better than any other tool. I mean, you could really take something and kind of flatten it out and use your pliers wrench and straighten it out, no problem. Now, the downside is when you're using this for holding on to material, you do have these teeth and these ridges. So if it's a delicate piece of material, you know, you might leave some marks in it. So if that's something that you want to be careful about doing, then you definitely want to go for the pliers wrench. But yeah, I just wanted to take an opportunity to kind of go into some of the more positive aspects of this tool. I do use this tool. I would say I use it a good bit. I don't use it all the time, but there are certainly times where I do use this in which it comes in handy, and I'm certainly happy that I bought it. A lot of people on the internet and on YouTube have kind of dogged this tool, and you know, I think it's kind of short-sighted. I'm not talking about anybody in particular. I just kind of think it's short-sighted in, you know, basically bashing the tool because it can't get around and it doesn't have the same clearance that, you know, your regular Cobra does. Again, that's not what the tool is intended for. But, you know, if you disagree, you're certainly welcome to it. You know, I definitely understand everybody's opinion, and I respect everybody's opinion. You know, I'm not calling anybody out in particular. But if you enjoyed the video, definitely appreciate a like and subscribe. And if you're interested in any tools you see in the video, the affiliate link for KC Tool will be down in the description. And that's all I got for you guys today. I appreciate your time. Peace.